Top of the morning folks, today from the Reddit Rainforest. To those of you who are responsible for scrubbing through security footage, what's the weirdest, funniest, oddest, creepiest, or most interesting thing you have caught someone doing on camera? I work as a busser at a pretty nice sushi restaurant. We used to have another worker who was referred to as Malarkey Head Busser by the rest of the staff. Anyway, one day Malarkey Head Busser arrives at work and sees someone trying to break into a car. He proceeds to break the window for them, then put on his apron and go into work. The whole thing is on video surveillance. He lost his job. I did not see it, but I was working when it happened. I see our security guy running through the back hallway at our grocery store. I ask if he needs help, and he replies, "Only if you wanna see an old man jacking off in the frozen food aisle." I worked surveillance for a casino for a few years. I have seen people having sex in vehicles. An unbelievable amount of people that sift through cigarette butts and smoke any that have anything left. More saps than I knew existed. People lose. All the time. Win. Hardly ever. Exorbitant amounts of money. One of the strangest was a woman being escorted out by friends. Seemingly outrageously drunk. It was summer, so they put her in the car, presumably to pass out, while they continued to gamble. She left the car, rifled through 4 other cars taking/leaving things along her journey, and then left when someone came and picked her up. Police were involved. The lady was found within a few days. Turns out that she had been to the doctor, had been prescribed a medication, and completely blacked out from it. No alcohol was consumed, and she had no recollection of 3 days that had passed. When confronted, she burst into tears and immediately offered to pay for whatever she took. I used to be a claims adjuster for mostly slip and fall cases. I was reviewing a tape of an alleged slip and fall at a grocery store. The woman walked into the middle of an aisle, picked up a wet floor sign, and hid it in another aisle. She then screamed loudly, no audio on tape though, and then waited a few seconds before lying on the ground. When someone came to help her, she dramatically kicked her legs, causing her body to rotate around in a circle like a child throwing a hissy fit. Then her accomplice came over to help her and dramatically pretended to slip all over the place like a cartoon character. I wish I had a copy of that to give to the internets. I'm responsible for watching the CCTV at one of Australia's largest airports. People do amazing things. I once watched a man drop his pants and take a malarkey at a packed baggage carousel. To the disgust of everyone standing around him. People always walk into glass doors. I watched a woman nosedive down a 12-step set of stairs. Completely missed every stair and face planted at the bottom. This guy thought he was by himself one day in an empty part of the airport. He began to strip down to his bare ass and slide across the leather chairs completely nude. I love watching people when they think they are alone. I used to manage a cell phone store, and a pissed off customer went to storm out of the store, but an extremely clean window impeded his exit. He slammed into it, face first. Turned around, shook his fist like an old man and left. We must have watched it 200 times. Even our regional VP could not help but laugh. CCTV of the drive-through lane at McDonald's. A guy stark naked at 2 AM doing press-ups. Best part? He was a member of staff and had called in sick earlier that evening. He was supposed to be working there and then. Used to work at a smoothie shop similar to Jamba Juice, but with more supplements. Make this guy a $9 freaking smoothie with wheatgrass, oats, protein powder and weight gainer. Ridiculous, but whatever. He pays and turns to leave with his phone in his hand. Have a nice day. The next person to come in says there's something all over the window. It's the mega calorie deluxe I just made. Go back to check the security cam. This dude walked right into the window next to the door, smashed his smoothie, turned to see if anyone saw, then just booked it. We watched it over and over every day for a week and it never got old. It was a big controversy when we found out someone deleted the video. Never saw bro health nut again. Manager of a movie theater here. We had 3 large plastic chipmunks from Alvin and the Chipmunks. They are all about 4 feet tall, like 30 pounds and very awkward to move. It's good advertising for birthday parties. But one day we noticed Alvin was missing. Reviewed the footage. When the midnights of Hangover 2nd were letting out, some guy was motioning for his friends to help. They denied. So he picked him up by his head and walked out the side door with it. Must have been over 300 people in that hallway watch him do it. No one said a word to us. My dad works in a big supermarket, and he used to leave me with the guy hoss responsible for the safety there. One time he showed me a video of an old man taking a dump in the fitting room. The look on the 12-year-old boy who was the unfortunate next one in line for the fitting room was priceless. I worked at a burglar alarm place. At about 2:30 am, a couple of Hispanic guys broke into a Mexican taqueria and began making themselves tacos. Police responded in 13 minutes. The owner showed up a few minutes later. The guys did not speak any English and the cops did not speak Spanish. They kept saying trabajo, which means work or job, and I knew that much to translate for the cops. The owner said, "Do not arrest them until I get down there. I might know who it is." By the time the owner showed up, the guy had made tacos for the cops and his buddy. The owner, having to show up at 3 am, was a bit weirded out, but he ate one too. Finally he calls in and says, "I do not know these guys. This is my wife's restaurant and she does not know them either." I offered this guy a job though. Those tacos were good. When I was 16 and working at a fast food place, one of my managers had all of her shifts covered for 2 weeks. I figured she got pretty sick or had a death in her family. The next day I walked into the office to see our area manager and regional manager watching security footage. So I walked up behind them to see what it was. It was our manager getting beaten savagely by her crazy roided up boyfriend. He dragged her from the office out to the back car park by her hair before slamming her head in the door of his car. After a worker at our store stopped him from abducting her, I walked out of the office and never said a word. Our staff had someone make a lunch run to Wendy's. One of the girls was stuck on a phone call, so they put a sandwich in the break room refrigerator. About a half hour later, she walks into the break room, takes the bag out of the refrigerator, throws the entire bag into the microwave, and hits the start button, forgetting that Wendy's wraps their burgers in foil. The foil starts sparking, which sets the bag on fire. She rips open the door to the microwave, grabs the bag, and cannot decide what to do with it. She runs 3 entire laps around the break room while shrieking and juggling a paper bag that has 3-foot flames shooting out of the top. She finally has the presence of mind to throw it into the sink and run water over it. Once word got out, we had people coming into the control room all day to see the footage. It wasn't really security, but it was CCTV for the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. I saw some guy jacking it in the middle of the flight deck, just standing there whipping it out about midnight. I'm not sure if he needed to do it to keep awake or if he was turned on by the oil atolls and stars. I worked at a water park one summer, and at the turnstiles, when you come in you had to have your bag checked by security before you could come in and pay. So this one Indian family of about 15 kids, 2 grandparents and 9 adults, helps the elderly in first, and then one of the parents gets their bag checked as a distraction, while the entire rest of the family rushes the gates. On camera you see all of the kids and adults running past the security guard with lawn chairs, bags, towels, and an umbrella. They then thought it was smart to split up. By then I came out of the security office and saw half of them running into our wave pool, still fully clothed, shoes and all, and the other half trying to make a break for the picnic area. To sum it up, Indian family rushes the security gates at a local water park. Did you catch them? Or just let them continue for all their planning? Yeah, we eventually just got a hold of all the kids and their parents followed. Haha. I was laughing the entire time we were rounding them up. For my first job, I worked at a small, local gas station. One Tuesday afternoon, a large, bald man came into the store and bought us out of Rice Krispies treats. Then, he proceeded to go to his car, put on a large fur coat, come back into the store, go into the big beer fridge in the back, and build a large castle out of the treats. He hid inside and refused to leave at closing. The footage was used a few years later to allow him to plead insanity in another case. Alright, my time to shine. I was a security guard at a large retail chain for a few years, and I saw some things. One of the worst was this one guy. I saw him coming into the store multiple days in a row, never buying anything, never really leaving with anything. So I started to wonder what the hell he was doing. I began to follow him on camera, and the first couple times I followed him, there was nothing special. Then one day, it all made sense. I saw him come into the store and immediately went to the security office to track him. I followed him to the toy section where he slowly walked up to this old lady, 65, 70 years old, kind of fat, and he knelt down behind her, took his camera phone and stuck it under her dress and took a picture. I called the cops who came and arrested him and found many more pictures on his phone. But man, I just felt bad for that lady. She did not even know what had happened until we told her. This is more about my story on camera. My manager, who runs the restaurant I work at, accidentally left his notebook at the bar and my coworker looked at it. With an astonished look on her face, she explained to me that the manager watches us on the camera and anytime we do something against the rules he would write it down. Catches. He should not have had access to any of the cameras. I was fairly new to the business, so my name was only in there once. Stubble. 10:35 am. Drinks glass of milk. We were pissed that he was wasting time and invading our privacy concerning himself with petty little rules. So the next day at 10:35 I poured myself a glass of milk, had a seat at the bar, stared into the camera, drank it, and then flipped off the camera. I knew it would horribly piss him off, but he could not fire me for doing it because he'd have to go the big boss and tell him that he was wasting his own time accessing footage he should have never seen. I work on a hospital unit that has a large amount of security cameras. One day, myself along with at least 4 other staff members witnessed one of our nurses walk off the unit, over to our meal cart, full of eaten trays, and proceed to eat from the scraps. She was stuffing food in her mouth and her pockets. Later on, she was complaining about not having eaten anything all day. This was years ago. When I worked in retail I had a job where the whole team just got on great, gelled very well. My manager was super easygoing and always had a laugh with the staff. One day he had bought a pellet gun/BB gun and come into the back room and shot me in the leg while also trying to avoid the camera which was just above the door to the back room. This was all in good fun, and watching me wail and flap like a chicken in the wind trying to avoid the pellet provided hours of enjoyment for the staff. I had requested the weekend off one time and was swiftly told no despite being told I could a few weeks prior. I don't know what possessed me to check it. Probably a quiet day and was having lunch. So I decided to just look through the video to watch it and have a laugh at myself when I noticed at the very bottom of the screen my boss shooting me with a BB gun. It was just his head and the gun pointing at me, but you could tell it was him. We all knew this was a plastic piece of crap, but the camera makes it look like some serious badass gun. I took a screenshot and circled him in the picture and left it in the office. I got the weekend off. His reaction will be burned into my mind forever. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. There is no more after this. Click the thumbs up button since you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. There is no more here. ... What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay ... This is not a secret, but subscribe for more Reddit videos like this.